Live from Wish TV, this is The Zone, presented by Old National Bank.
Hi, everybody. Good evening to you, and welcome to the Zone Postseason Special. I'm Anthony Calhoun. It is tournament time in boys basketball as sectional play actually begins tomorrow night. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll get you ready for a busy week of high school hoops throughout the state. Coming up, Greg Raystrong of the ISC Sports Network is here in studio to share with us his thoughts on the state tournament and provide his championship predictions, plus his one last tournament ride for All-American Braylon Mullins as he and Greenfield Central looks to win a sectional for the first time in 27 years. And honoring a legend, our Andrew Chernoff has a special story on how George Washington High School is paying tribute to the late George McGinnis. But we start tonight in Class 4A. Top-ranked Fishers is looking to go back-to-back. Last season, the Tigers won the program's first ever state title and haven't missed a beat this year. The team went a perfect 24-0 this season with an average victory margin of over 25 points per game. But the path won't be easy for the Tigers starting tomorrow night as they face second-ranked Westfield in a 1-versus-2 first-round showdown. However, head coach Garrett Weiniger believes his team is up for the challenge and even learned lessons from last year.
I think it's just confidence. You know, as a school, I've never won a sectional, and now we got 7 guys who play a lot now, who played last year, who have experienced that, so have the experience in the big games and the pressure moments. Our sectional, you've seen it, it's sold out, it's loud. So to have that experience coming back, I think it just gives them a quiet confidence that no matter the situation, that they're in the game and that they can make the plays to make it happen.
All right, meanwhile, so Fishers is one of 4 teams that will be looking to repeat at state championships. Here's a list of the schools that won the boys championship last year. You got 4A, of course. We're talking about the Tigers there. Scottsburg won the 3A title. Brownstown Central took home the 2A championship. And 1A, Fort Wayne Canterbury, they won the 1A state championship. Okay, so it's been a historic season for the Greenfield Central boys basketball team. And the Cougars are getting ready for sectionals this week. With them will be McDonald's All-American and UConn commit Braylon Mullins. Our Angel Morian has more tonight with Greenfield Central's superstar.
We call him the Jimmy Chitwood because he's really soft-spoken and he's like an All-American, regular Hoosier kid.
With McDonald's All-American honors, Greenfield Central's Braylon Mullins is the first in all of Hancock County to earn the nation's top award in high school basketball. But that's just one part of the history he's made.
I mean, it is an accomplishment that not a lot of people can say they have, and it's great that I get this presented in front of our community.
Mullins has been showing off for the community his whole career. He joined the 2,000-point club on senior night after scoring a career-high 52.
There's nothing he can't do. He can score at all 3 levels. He can shoot it, he can handle it, he can pass it. He's a willing passer. He has good size. He's a great athlete. He's a A's and B's student. He's a very humble young man. He's a great teammate. So literally the definition of checking all your boxes.
I mean, the kid's done things that we didn't think. Like, he's exceeded every expectation that we put on him. Doesn't say a whole lot. I think that's what drives people crazy sometimes. Like, man, I wish he would just talk. And but no, he's a great kid, man. He's done so much. Man, he's brought basketball back to life here at Greenfield, and not just him and his teammates.
There's one big thing missing on Mullins' long list of accomplishments. That's playing for a state championship right here in Gainbridge Fieldhouse. It's been nearly 30 years since the Cougars have won a sectional title. They've never won a regional. Getting to the Fieldhouse, the #1 thing on Mullins' mind.
It's been a great year. I mean, the last 2 years especially, so I'm grateful for it, but I'm trying to make a longer run than what we did the previous year. So I just want to make it last as long as possible, and it's gonna make me excited for that.
This group's won 75, 80 games. I think that's the legacy. It's winning again. That's what you want to do, is you want to win. We haven't won a sectional since 1998. It's been a long time, and this is it. This is the time.
The Cougars start off the state tournament against Pendleton Heights on Tuesday. Angela Moria, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook for updates.
Okay, Angela, thanks a lot. All the best there to Greenfield Central. Okay, so here we go. Tuesday, we got Mount Vernon taking on Richmond as we look at Greenfield Central's road there to Yes, Indianapolis. Pendleton Heights against Greenfield Central. That's coming up on Tuesday in that Sectional 9 at Muncie Central. Now, Friday, we got Anderson. Of course, they'll be in action on Friday, and then Muncie Central will take on all those winners, as you see there on the screen there for the Class 4A Sectional 9 at Muncie Central. Now, of course, after sectionals comes the regional round next week. This will be year 3 of the single-game regional format for the IHSAA in basketball with a 2-game semi-state leading up to the state finals. We connected with IHSAA Commissioner Paul Neidig, who says after experiencing the new format for a couple of years, the change has been well received.
Well, the reaction around the tournament change from a few years ago has been really positive from our seat. And I think all we have to do is look to every team who won a regional championship. That's double the number of champions that we've had in the previous year. And then, you know, while that semi-state week is tough, but teams have an opportunity to prepare for that. And it's 2 games, and it ought to be tough. I mean, the prize in front of them is a state championship, and you got to bring your best. And to bring your best for 2 games right before you be able to play in the state championship game, we think brings a lot of excitement to the sport. Fans seem to enjoy it a lot.
All right, we'll see what happens there. Okay, let's take a look at the full schedule for the boys basketball state tournament this season. Sections, of course, they get underway this week. We got regionals falling next week, coming in next week, and then semi-states March the 22nd, and then the state finals actually taking the same week of the NCAA basketball tournament, the Elite 8 here at Lucas Oil Stadium. So we got the state finals going on that week as well. It should be a lot of fun right here in Indianapolis. All right, time for a break, but don't go anywhere, folks. We're just getting started here on the Zone Postseason Special. There he is, our guy, Greg Greatstraw, is in the building and ready to break down the state tournament, including who he thinks is going to cut down the nets at Gamebridge Fieldhouse. The interview is next.
No one covers high school sports like the Zone. Wish TV. We are local.
Okay, welcome back to the Zone Postseason Special. Anthony Calhoun here with you tonight. I'm joined now by the one and only, y'all know who this is, Greg Greatstraw, the Vice President of the ISC Sports Network. Greg, it is always great to have you here, part of our show when we're talking about high school, anything sports, but obviously now getting ready for the basketball state championship. You and I both, Indiana, we know how special this month is when it comes to all the madness on the hardwood. Before we get to just breaking down some of these brackets, I want to ask you this first. What's your level of enthusiasm as you get set here for postseason play tomorrow?
Well, I think what's unique, and obviously we'll kind of finish this off with state finals picks a few minutes from now, but you have one class that has a distinctive favorite in terms of Fishers in 4A, trying to become the 3rd 4A champ since 2018 to run the table and go unbeaten. But you have so many contenders in 1A, 2A, 3A, and in 3A because of schools that have dropped down as the IHSA has shrunk 4A and moved schools like Attucks, Cathedral, and New Pal, who are amongst the best teams in the state. They're playing for a 3A championship this year. And there are teams that have moved up with a success factor, like last year's champs you referenced in Brownstown Central, what Blackhawk Christian has done consistently. So, for example, I think the 3A class AC has never been better than it has been going into this tournament.
Every year is never the same, right? It's one we love about March Madness when it comes to when it comes to high school basketball. What do you enjoy the most when you get ready and you're looking at these brackets here and you understand these students know, hey, look, it's all or nothing. You got to get it done. You win, you move on, you lose, and your season's over.
Well, to me, I think about how lucky we are to be here in Central Indiana, where we've got such a wonderful selection of great tournaments. We'll break down 3 different tournaments in the 4A group. But you can have the argument this year, is the Carmel sectional the best? Is it the Muncie Central sectional that's the best? Is it the one that's at Lawrence Central, which again does look different because no Cathedral, no Attucks. Those two are going to likely play each other on a Friday night, like 15 blocks where you and I are having this conversation right now up at Shortridge. We are so ridiculously lucky in Central Indiana and statewide. We have so many wonderful games and matchups we can choose from.
All right, so I want to talk about the section that I think a lot of people are going to be keeping their eye on. That is Sectional 8 at Carmel High School, and we'll be bringing you coverage throughout the week right here on Wish TV. And when we saw the drawings come out, I'm like, what? We got number 1 Fishers against number 2 Westfield. But before that, we got Carmel against Noblesville. I'm just saying this, if you're trying to get a seat to this game, you better arrive early. Of course, that's the second game, but you're at Carmel. You know the Greyhound fans are going to show up as well.
Yeah, I think it was our friend and your colleague, Andrew Chernoff, that tweeted out earlier today, maybe like 300 seats are available at most. I think for Tuesday night's doubleheader. And again, shameless plug time. You can catch the Fishers Westfield game, both semis on Friday, championship Saturday on our sister station, MyNDTV 23. Westfield Fishers, and for Westfield, they drew Noblesville the opening round last year, and they were both in the top 3. This year, they're number 2. They get number 1. Now, let me say this: Fishers only played 5 games that were single-digit wins all year. Westfield was one of them, and Westfield led for a good chunk of that game 3 weeks ago. So if anybody can get Fishers out of the gate, it might be Coach Sumter's Shamrocks.
And so if you're a fan, you're there on Tuesday and, of course, Friday, then leading up to Saturday, but how special is that going to be for just look, we know about Indiana basketball. We know how special it is when it comes to other states, when it comes to high school basketball. How awesome is that going to be there at Carmel High School for these games?
The atmosphere is amazing. I've been there when that place is full, just like I have been at LN, Warren, LC so many times over the years.
Yeah.
Again, we can appreciate it. November through February, there's something different when the calendar flips to March, and we get to experience that all of 24 hours from now.
Cannot wait. Okay, let's take a look at Sectional 9 here. Here's another one that I think a lot of folks are going to be talking about. We showed you earlier in the show. We talked about Greenfield Central, but tell us who else we should keep our eye on in that bracket there in that region.
So for as good as Greenfield has been the last 2 years, and again, Braylon from a national standpoint kind of blew up recruiting-wise during the course of the offseason. But again, New Pal beat them last year, and New Pal is now in 3A. Anderson knocked off Greenfield Central 2 years ago. They're top 10 as well. They're led by Damian King, who averaged 22 points a game. And Mount Vernon lost a couple players to start the season, but they've got Luke Ertl, who's going to go to Purdue in a couple of years, and he is fantastic. So 3 really good teams here. Greenfield Central is the favorite, but it's going to be tough to get past Mount Vernon and Anderson.
Okay, let's take a look at Sectional 11 now at Avon. It seems like this sectional is wide open, and any one of these 5 teams could possibly win this, right?
And again, this is kind of a different grouping. So kind of the best teams, what was kind of Sectional 11 and Sectional number 12, have now been merged to this West Side Sectional. We have a Hendricks County half of the bracket with Avon, Brownsburg, Winter getting Plainfield, then Pike and Ben Davis. We had that game on MyNDTV on February the 6th with Ben Davis coming from behind to win. And really, I think you can make a case for 4 of the 5 teams. Record-wise, Avon has the best record coming in.
All right, cannot wait. It all gets underway coming up on Tuesday in the boys basketball state championship run. Okay, so last year, this guy right here, we put him on the hot seat. He had to make his predictions on who he thinks will win a state championship. And so last year, not too bad. 4 classes, you split them. You had 500, 50-50. So how you feeling about it this year, man?
Again, I think there's one definitive favorite, and I say this, and they could be done as of tomorrow night. It'll be Fishers in terms of 4A.
Yeah.
Then when we get to 1A, 2A, 3A, it's a little bit different. So in terms of 3A,
here we go.
Listen, Cathedral is really good. Addix is fantastic. They just beat Ben Davis and Carmel back-to-back games, but Julius Gizzi, he's the leading scoring Gizzi. For those who don't know, he, his brother, his sister, and his mom are like the 2 leading scorers in girls and boys basketball in the history of New Pal. Julius just topped the family charts. We're going to go with Fort Wayne Lures in a loaded 2A, just because they play largely a 4A schedule in the Summit Athletic Conference. And if you haven't heard about the Eels from Clay City, in fact, Clay City and Northview, the 2 high schools in Clay County, both out of the tournament with 1 loss. Give me the Eels to get it done.
Let me ask you this. You got Fishers there 4A, so from Sectional 8, you think the winner of that sectional goes all the way?
So here is their path. If they were to, whoever wins that sectional then would play the winner of the Kokomo Lafayette Jeff Harrison group, which is Sectional 7, which is very balanced of good teams, but whoever wins the Hamilton County section will be the favorite. Then at that point in time, Crown Point is the best of those other teams with Warsaw right behind them. Fishers played them at the Hall of Fame Classic. Warsaw played them tight. But again, if Fishers can get through that sectional, they should be the favorite, as they were a year ago, to be the northern representative in the 4A state championship game.
All right, once again, reminder, tomorrow we got the game, right?
Correct. So Carmel and Noblesville is stream only, ihsaatv.org. Our coverage on MyNDTV 23 begins at 7:30. Number 1, number 2, Fishers and Westfield.
Cannot wait. Always good to see my man.
Thanks, buddy.
Don't work too hard, bro. Okay? Don't work too hard. But it's going to be fun.
We don't have real jobs. This is great. We're in sports for a living.
That's right. It's going to be fun for you tomorrow. All right. We're going to take a break. We got much more to come your way here tonight, live here on the Zone Postseason Special. Hey, coming up, honoring a legend. We head to George Washington, where the school has named its gym after the late George McGinnis. That story's on the way. Plus, if you're hoping to watch games this week, we've got you covered. We'll show you which matchups you can watch from the comfort of your own home. Stick around. We're back after this. Okay, we're back. The George Washington Continentals are hoping to find success again this postseason, like they did last year. But this year, they also have added motivation. Our Andrew Chernoff has more on how a legend within the program is fueling this year's team.
George Washington is chasing more history this postseason, 1 year after winning its first sectional title since 1995.
They give us a lot of confidence. We just ready to come back and work hard and try to get another.
This year, though, there will be an added sense of pride for the Continentals as they practice for the playoffs inside their newly renamed gym, which honors the late George McGinnis.
We're doing everything we can to try to live up to some of these greats that have played here.
Last month, a dedication ceremony was held for the George McGinnis Gymnasium. The legend was named Mr. Basketball in 1969 when he led the Continentals to an undefeated state title. His former high school and college teammate, current Marian University Director of Athletics Steve Downing, was at the presentation.
It hadn't sunk in yet to see that name up there like that because I wasn't expecting it, and when they called, it was just... it hadn't sunk in yet, to be honest with you.
The George Washington players may not have been alive when McGinnis was playing, but they still fully understand the impact he had on their program.
I just looked at his stats the other day. I didn't know how good he was. I mean, I'm trying to break him. Honestly, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. That's my mindset.
So almost in a way, George McGinnis going here is added motivation for you.
Oh, yes, sir. It's just something that makes me want to work harder every day.
George Washington head coach Omar Dillard wants to see his players use that as motivation this month.
We got to give these kids history to help them understand what it means to play for something. You know, and if they're playing for him and then you combine that they're playing for each other, we hope that bodes well.
McGinnis not only won a championship in high school, he also won 2 ABA titles with the Pacers. A winner through and through, something these players hope to replicate. At George Washington, Andrew Chernoff, Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
Oh, Andrew, thank you very much, man. What a cool moment out there for them, and all the best to them. Good luck here in the postseason. All right, George Washington, by the way, open sectional play tomorrow night against Edgewood. Time for another break on the Zone Postseason Special, but we're not done just yet. Coming up on the other side of the break, we'll take a closer look at Mighty TV 23 lineup for this week of win or go home basketball. We'll be back right after this.
No one covers high school sports like the Zone. Wish TV. We are local.
Okay, welcome back to the Zone Postseason Special. Anthony Calhoun here with you tonight. We've got a busy week of high school basketball, and here's a look at what we've got coming up for you in the next several days. On our sister station, Mighty TV Channel 23. Our coverage begins on Tuesday at Carmel with a showdown between, yes, the #1 team in the state. Fishers taking on Westfield. Coverage gets underway at 7:30 right here on our sister station, that is Mighty TV Channel 23. So make sure you tune in for that. And then we got a doubleheader coming your way as well on Friday night. And then, of course, the championship game Saturday night as well, all on our sister station, Mighty TV Channel 23. So make sure you tune in. Some great high school basketball coverage coming your way. Postseason win, you move on, you lose, and the season is over. Folks, I want to say thank you so much for watching this edition of the Zone Postseason Special. Don't forget, we got you covered on our sports app as well. And also, don't forget, we got you covered on wishtv.com. Good luck to all those teams trying to make a run to Indianapolis to win a state championship. Our coverage starts tomorrow here on Wish.